Trump under pressure. How Mark Carney and Canada are challenging trade war tactics. Friends, something unprecedented is happening in global politics. Donald Trump, long considered a master of economic coercion, is facing pressure from every direction. What was once a predictable landscape of trade negotiations, tariffs, and negotiations is now being disrupted by voices and strategies that refuse to submit to unilateral pressure. This video explores how Mark Carney's historic Davos speech, Stephen Harper's surprising reversal on US relations, and Canada's innovative automotive strategy are creating the first real challenge to Trump's trade war tactics. The story is more than bilateral. It is about how middle powers are learning to survive, assert themselves, and create alternatives to subordination in a world where great powers weaponize trade, finance, and supply chains. Mark Carney's historic Davos speech. At Davos, Mark Carney delivered what many analysts are calling a rupture speech. Comparisons have even been made to Winston Churchill's Iron Curtain address, not because Carney is invoking wartime rhetoric, but because he is drawing a clear line in economic and financial policy. Carney highlighted the dangers of unilateral coercion in global trade, the destabilizing effects of weaponizing finance, and the increasing risks posed to smaller nations and middle powers when dominant economies prioritize leverage over cooperation. His message was clear. Economic power comes with responsibility. Countries cannot assume subordination from their partners if they want global stability. The speech reverberated across the world, sparking discussions in Europe, Asia, and North America. Analysts noted that Carney's warning was both timely and strategic. It was a subtle signal that Canada, while not a superpower, is prepared to act decisively to protect its sovereignty and economic interest. Stephen Harper's surprising reversal, adding to the pressure on Trump, was an unexpected voice. Stephen Harper, former Conservative Prime Minister of Canada. Harper, long known for a pragmatic approach to relations with the United States, publicly challenged the approach of economic coercion. His reversal is shocking because it represents a rare moment of cross-party alignment on Canada's response to US pressure. Harper's statements emphasized that Canadian sovereignty and economic independence cannot be sacrificed for political expediency. He underscored the importance of diversification, collaboration with international partners, and resisting strategies that rely solely on intimidation. By speaking out, Harper added credibility to Carney's warnings and amplified Canada's negotiating power. Canada's automotive strategy. One of the most tangible measures demonstrating Canada's assertiveness is its new automotive strategy. This strategy is designed to attract manufacturing and investment to Canada rather than allowing the United States to dominate the North American supply chain unilaterally. While Trump's policies attempt to push production south through tariffs and threats, Canada is pulling manufacturing north through incentives, trade diversification, and partnerships with global markets, including China and South Korea. This approach reduces Canada's vulnerability and demonstrates how middle powers can shape regional economics even under pressure from a superpower. Harvard analysts have noted that this is a turning point. Middle powers, which are too large to ignore but not superpowers themselves, are beginning to coordinate, diversify, and resist unilateral coercion. Canada's example shows that economic independence and strategic alliances can counterbalance dominant power without triggering direct confrontation. Global implications. This isn't just about Canada and the US, it's about a changing global order. Trade, finance, and supply chains are increasingly weaponized. Countries that fail to diversify or resist are vulnerable to disruption. Canada's actions illustrate that there are alternatives to subordination. By leveraging finance, policy, and diplomacy, Canada is quietly teaching other nations that power does not always reside with the largest economy. The combination of Carney's authoritative economic voice, Harper's political credibility, and the automotive strategy's practical impact provides a model for middle powers worldwide. Canada's partnerships with China and South Korea further demonstrate this approach. By expanding its economic and technological links beyond the United States, Canada reduces its dependence on any single partners, strengthening resilience in a volatile global environment. Conclusion: the global order is being rewritten. Middle powers are learning how to navigate a world where great powers use economic, political, and financial tools as weapons. Trump's trade tactics were designed to pressure submission, but Canada's combination of economic strategy, political unity, and global partnerships is showing an alternative path. This is a story not only about diplomacy and economics but about the evolution of global influence. Canada is demonstrating that it is possible to stand firm, assert sovereignty, and coordinate with allies without resorting to confrontation. The lessons from this unfolding scenario are clear. Economic power must be wielded responsibly. Alliances are fragile when trust is undermined. Middle powers can influence the global order through strategy, not force. Canada's example may inspire other nations to rethink dependence, diversify partnerships, and resist coercion. The world is watching, learning, and recalibrating. Trump is under pressure not because of rhetoric alone, but because Canada has shown that strategy, unity, and foresight can challenge even the most aggressive trade war tactics. Mark Carney, Trump, Geopolitics, Canada, Canadian Politics, Trump Tariffs, Davos, VAVF,